Welcome to the Financial Aid and Career Opportunity webinar. That's our first installment of our Admitted Student Day webinar series. My name is Lindsay Stewart. I'm the Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Mercer Law School. And today I also have with me Elizabeth Carr, who's the Assistant Dean of Career Services. I'm going to start by introducing myself a little further. I'm going to talk to you about the next steps with the financial aid process, and then I'm going to turn the webinar over to Elizabeth to address your career-related concerns. As I mentioned, my name is Lindsay, and I am a proud double bear. I graduated from Mercer undergrad in 2006 and Mercer Law School in 2009. I was in private practice for a while. I also clerked for the Superior Court judges in my hometown. I also didn't practice law, and then I've been back at the law school working since 2016, where I actually worked in career services with Dean Carr before transitioning to my role in admissions and financial aid. So I'm very excited to be a part of Admitted Student Day, and I'm very excited about all of our incoming class of 2023. Well, let's get right down to business. You're probably wondering, what are the next steps for the financial aid process for law school? You've been accepted, what's next? How are you going to pay for law school? Well, your first step, if you want to borrow student loans, is to complete the FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. You'll need to do that each year. And unlike undergrad, you will not include your parents' information in your FAFSA, even if your parents are helping you pay for law school. The other thing that you will have to complete for financial aid purposes, regardless if you want to borrow student loans or not, is the Mercer application for financial aid. And I know what some of you might be thinking. I'm not borrowing student loans. Why do I need to do a financial aid application? Well, we won't know what your plans are, whether you want to borrow student loans or self-pay, unless you tell us. And we have a simple Mercer financial aid application to complete, and that's basically you telling us what you need to borrow for student loans or saying, no thanks, Mercer, I got this. We will send an email with notification about our Mercer financial aid application after the seat deposit deadline. So most of you have a seat deposit deadline of April 15th. But those of you who have been recently admitted within the last, I don't know, maybe week or so, you have a later seat deposit deadline. So you will receive the information about how to access the Mercer financial aid application after your seat deposit deadline has passed. You can go ahead and complete FAFSA now. Go ahead and mark one more thing off your list, and then you will have about 2 weeks from the time you receive the Mercer financial aid application to complete that. We will start processing the financial aid for incoming first-year law students around June is when we start that process, because we have to get our summer school folks taken care of, and that happens in May. Once you complete FAFSA and the Mercer financial aid application, and we start processing your financial aid, you will receive emails from us. The emails will contain directions on how to accept your financial aid, how to complete entrance counseling, how to sign your master promissory note or notes. I would recommend not trying to do any of those things until you receive the instructions from us. So please don't go out to studentloans.gov until you get information from us telling you go ahead and go out there. Make sure you pay close attention to the directions that we send in the emails, please, because you will need to select Mercer University for some of the items instead of Mercer Law School. We have direct federal student loans. We have an unsubsidized loan and a Graduate Plus loan that students may be eligible for. Students may borrow up to $20,500 a year in direct unsubsidized loans, and they can borrow the remainder. They may be eligible to borrow the remainder of what they need to cover the cost of attendance in Graduate Plus loans. Graduate Plus loans require a credit check. Don't worry if you don't have the best credit score. Your credit score does not affect your interest rate or anything like that. The credit check is simply to make sure you haven't defaulted on student loans previously. You're not in bankruptcy, you're not more than 30 days behind in payments, those types of things. Excuse me. If you have had a little credit hiccup in the past, you may be eligible for an endorser, which is basically like a cosigner. If you need that, if you have credit issues for your Graduate Plus loans. Let me explain how the cost of attendance works. The cost of attendance is tuition and fees plus a living allowance. So for the current academic year, our tuition is $39,484. That's for tuition and fees. We have a living allowance of $19,180. That means if you add those two together, our current students are eligible to borrow $58,664 per 9-month academic year. So, what that means for you, our Board of Trustees meets in late April to set tuition for the upcoming year. So we won't know the tuition for 2020, 2021, that academic year, until probably early May. We will update our website with those amounts as soon as we have that information. But how that works for you as a student, will take the cost of attendance, subtract any scholarships that you have received, and then you may be eligible to borrow the remainder of the cost of attendance in student loans. We'll start by using all of the unsubsidized loan first, because that has a slightly lower interest rate and lower origination fees. And then if you still need to borrow additional student loan money, a Graduate Plus loan may be an option as well. Some students are interested in private loans. I would say that that is an option, but the federal loans have really wonderful things built into them in terms of repayment options and if you experience hardships. So typically, most of our students who borrow student loans use federal loans. Student loans are disbursed the first day of class each semester. So if you sign up to receive a living allowance or any type of living allowance money, that will be disbursed, half of it, on the first day of classes in the fall. So that would be your first day of intro week. And then half would be disbursed on the first day of classes in the spring. Now, if you sign up for direct deposit, which we highly recommend, and we'll send information on how you can do that when the time comes, after the loans are disbursed, your bank may still take another 2 to 4 business days to actually clear the money to your account. So go ahead and plan accordingly how you're going to pay for your apartment deposits and possibly any utility deposits up front. Well, what can you be doing now to plan for law school? First thing is to save as much money as possible so you can borrow less in student loans. Please don't go out and buy a new or used car or any kind of car that is going to require a note, because student loans are not to be used for car notes and are not to be used for credit card payments. This is not a Mercer Law rule, this is a federal government rule. So go ahead and plan accordingly to try to save as much as you can now. I received some questions before the webinar, and I want to take time to address some of those. Let's see. Someone asked about outside scholarships, and you should be receiving emails from Miss Judy in our office about any outside scholarship opportunities. So far, she has emailed one about an AT&T legal program, as well as one about an intellectual property law scholarship opportunity. I would encourage you to just Google and see what you can find. Contact your local Chamber of Commerce, as well as the State Bar and the local Bar Association. of where you're from, because once in a while they offer scholarships for students. I got a question about federal work study. So financial aid consists of scholarships, student loans, and federal work study. Federal work study may be an opportunity for you when you're a second or third year. Mercer Law strongly recommends that students do not work during their first year because law school is very demanding. So if you're interested in federal work study, when you complete your financial aid application for your 2L year, your second year, let us know that. Let's see, if you've already filled out your FAFSA and you need to make a change, maybe you accidentally put in your parents' information or forgot to include something, some assets that you have, you can make changes to FAFSA. You'll need to log into your account to do that and follow the prompts through there. What about that EFC, that expected family contribution that FAFSA includes? Well, all of our law school financial aid is, all of our scholarships are merit-based, and our financial aid is not based on need. So the only time that expected family contribution comes into play is if one of our students is participating in federal work study. And that just comes into play when figuring out how much a student may be eligible to earn. How that calculation is performed is not something that I'm going to go into during this webinar. It's actually something that the federal government calculates, and that's through FAFSA. As far as roommates go, I would encourage you to get a roommate because that's a great way to save money, which means borrowing fewer student loans. I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to join our Mercer Law Class of 2023 Facebook group to meet your classmates and to get to know them through Facebook and maybe exchange phone numbers and possibly call each other or FaceTime and see about lining up a roommate that way. But that's a wonderful way to help save money and live on a budget. Let me see what other questions I had. Your first year as a law student, all of your classes will automatically be scheduled for you. So you will have all of your classes with your section. Your section is kind of like your homeroom. They're roughly about 25 students. Now you may have some classes with other sections as well, but you'll definitely have all of your classes fall and spring semester of your first year with your section. Well, what about coronavirus? What happens with all of that? I just want to let you know that Mercer is doing everything that they can to ensure a quality education for our students. Currently, our students at Mercer Law School, as well as the undergrad campus, in-person classes have been canceled for the rest of the semester, and our students are learning virtually through Zoom and online. And so if the need arose again, we are happy to rise to the occasion and to still continue to provide all of the services that you would receive just as if you were physically taking classes in the building at law school. I think that's all that I have. Oh, I have one more thing that I failed to mention. When we start processing the financial aid in June, you will receive your financial aid notification. You'll get an email. And that email will contain instructions on how you go in and accept your financial aid and complete your entrance counseling and sign your master promissory notes. So we will keep you posted through email for every step of the way, but if you have questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us. I'm going to share our contact information at the end of the webinar. Right now, I'm going to introduce my colleague, Assistant Dean of Career Services, also proud double bear, Elizabeth Carr.
Thank you, Lindsay. I am really excited to be with you for the Admitted Students webinar, and I really enjoyed all the information that Lindsay gave us about the admissions and financial aid process. And I'm going to share just a little bit of information with you about career services. I'll start by introducing myself and giving you a little bit of my background. Like Lindsay said, I'm currently the Assistant Dean of Career Services here at Mercer Law School, and a really proud double bear. I graduated from the undergrad in 2006 and then took a year off to work and save money. Like Lindsay said, because law school, you want to take out as few loans as possible. And then I graduated from the law school in 2010. I practiced for about 5 years doing a lot of different civil work, really enjoyed it, but I was looking to come back to this area because that's where my family is. And so I came back to the law school about 5 years ago, this past January, and started in the Career Services office, and I've loved it ever since. So I'm really excited to be with y'all and share that as my background. And then I'm going to cover a little bit of information about career services and what we can do for you. So I want to talk about how Mercer in general and the career services team in particular can help you become a happy and successful lawyer. So first, we're going to talk about the academic programs that we have that develop students into practicing lawyers. We have a commitment to helping students develop an idea of who you want to be as lawyers, and that begins in your very first year with Professor Pat Longan's legal profession class. You'll hear this referred to as developing your own ethical and professional identity, and we've twice won national recognition for this course. You'll also frequently hear that Mercer Law graduates are practice ready. So what does that mean to you? In addition to teaching you how to think like a lawyer, you'll hear us say that all the time, Mercer has a longstanding commitment to developing practical skills that you'll have that are necessary for you to become an effective lawyer. So how do we do that? We have an academic success program that works to help you with all of the things that you need to succeed from your very first semester all the way through passing the bar exam. We also have a nationally recognized legal writing program with a certificate in advanced legal writing, research, and drafting. I hear from employers frequently that they seek out more Mercer lawyers specifically because they know how to write. And perhaps, maybe most importantly, Mercer is committed to providing opportunities for students to gain practical experience while they're in school. And there's lots of different ways that you can do that. So here in Middle Georgia, we have externship opportunities with government, with nonprofit, and with corporate counsel placements. And you can do this during your first year, the summer after your first year, and during the summer after your second year. We also have a judicial field placement program that allows students to work with area judges, and we also offer a public defender clinic for students in their third year of law school. Our Atlanta externship program allows third-year students to earn up to a full semester of credit through externing in Atlanta with a wide range of government, nonprofit, and corporate counsel offices, with the opportunity also to take a course or two on the Atlanta campus. So by splitting that credit over 2 semesters, some students are able to spend the majority of their third year in Atlanta. In addition to the academic programs that we have, our office specifically will work with you beginning in your very first semester of law school to chart a career path that is personal to you and that will help you achieve your desired career. Our office consists of 3 full-time staff members who have all had legal careers before this. So we all have JDs and we all have different backgrounds in practice before coming to the Career Services office. And we will be your counselor while you're here. We have a mission. Our mission is sort of 2 parts. First, we want to teach you to actively seek and develop satisfying and fulfilling careers. And we also want to work with you to facilitate the connection to job opportunities because we know that's important. Our goal is for students to develop the skills necessary to not only find jobs while you're in law school, but also after graduation, and to also seek job opportunities throughout your career. We know that your first job a lot of times is not your forever job. One of the ways that we help you do that is we have a really great first year law school professional development series. And through that program, we will cover all of the basics needed in job searching, from how to be successful in your first job to how to develop a strong resume, cover letter. We cover informational interviewing, networking, all of those things. We place a strong emphasis on individual counseling. So you are assigned a counselor based on your section during your very first year, and that person will be your point person all the way through law school and beyond. Typically, you will have access to somebody in our office at any given time. Now, currently, we are all working virtually, but all of our counselors are still available for our students every day. We've been setting up Zoom appointments with them. We have done phone calls. We've got virtual office hours, so we're maintaining that availability to students even during this new time. We provide direct access to job opportunities for students currently and at all times through our on-campus recruiting program. Normally that would mean employers are coming on campus to do interviews, but we're setting those up via Zoom. I got a request from an employer just earlier today for that. We also do resume collects and job postings, state, regional, and national job fairs, and we also have a very strong referral and alumni network. On a very personal front, one of the best things about Mercer is that our professors are very involved, not only in your class preparation, but outside of it. Frequently, our professors help advise students about practice areas and connect students with alumni in those field of practices. So Professor Sabbath is always my go-to for bankruptcy. He's very well connected in that area, and anytime I have a student who's interested in that field, I make sure to send them his way. One thing I hope you've heard about Mercer and that maybe you already know is that we have an incredibly loyal and supportive alumni base. Our alumni are always eager to help students from Mercer, and they do that by mentoring, by talking about their practice areas, and they give back in a lot of different ways. It's one of the best things about us, and I can say that as an alumni and as a student who was able to take part of that when I was in school. One thing I want to do, just sort of wrapping up before I turn it back over to Lindsay, is answer a couple of the questions that came in. So one of the questions we received was, when is the appropriate time for first years to start job searching or to start working? And Lindsay alluded a little bit to that in her piece about how we really discourage first years from working during that year because you really need to focus on school. So in line with that, we will actually not open job applications for first years until about December 1st. We really want you to spend your fall semester focusing on school and doing the best you can. You can attend our class so that you'll be ready once job applications open. You'll have all of the materials you need to begin applying, and you'll really start heavily applying during your spring. You'll start over that winter break and then apply throughout the spring. And you'll be well in time for your very first summer to have lots of different job opportunities. And that's pretty much in line with a lot of law schools across the country, excuse me. One of the other questions we got was about different opportunities, so different industries and things like that. I could spend a whole hour-long webinar talking about the different job opportunities that you could have with your legal degree, but just know if there's an area of the law that you're interested in, we can help you find opportunities in that field, whether it is sports law, whether it is education, if it is intellectual property. That's one of the ones that Lindsay mentioned. There's a scholarship available for that. So if there's an area that you're interested in, your career counselor would speak with you individually and figure out what the best path for that is. I'm going to turn it back over to Lindsay at this time, but I hope you'll reach out if you have any more questions about career services or any of the other services that we can provide for you.
Thank you so much, Dean Carr. I appreciate your input. I did have a few more things that I wanted to address, but I am going to go ahead and include our contact information. I'm going to share my screen and go ahead and pull up our contact information right here, so you can see how to get in touch with us. Elizabeth, can you see my screen with all of our contact information?
Unfortunately not, but we could always share it verbally if we needed.
Okay, well, just in case this is not viewable, I will go ahead and let you know my contact information to reach. Hold on one second. Here we go, little technical difficulties. To reach the Office of Admissions and Financial Aid, we have forwarded our phones to our cell phones. So you're welcome to call the numbers that you see on the website. Our main office number is 478-301-2605. You can email me directly if you prefer to send an email. My email address is Stewart, stewart@law.mercer.edu. I wanted to also mention that we have virtual office hours, an opportunity for you admitted students this Friday from 10 until 12 o'clock, 10 a.m. until noon. And you can find information about how to participate in those virtual office hours, to talk to a current student, to ask all of those questions that you want to know but are maybe too embarrassed to ask us, like, what do law students wear to class? Those types of things. They wear normal stuff. They wear jeans, just like you wear, and some dress up. Anyway, you can find out how to get in on the virtual office hours. That link is in our Mercer Law Facebook Class of 2023 group, as well as on our Admitted Student Day page. There's a link for that. So you can go to law.mercer.edu, click on prospective students, and then you can follow to the admitted student page from there to get access to the virtual office hours with a current student. I also wanted to mention about our cost of attendance. Our cost of attendance and the breakdown of our living allowance is also on our website. So when you go to law.mercer.edu, click on prospective students and then click on financial aid, you can see our current amounts that we have listed, just kind of as a guide, a monthly rent guide, a monthly utilities guide. This is just to help you budget because, like I mentioned previously, we recommend borrowing the least that you have to borrow, and so that can involve staying on a budget for sure. And lastly, I had received a few questions about opportunities related to veterans. First of all, I want to thank all of our veterans for their service to our country. And I wanted to let you know that Mercer Law School is a yellow ribbon school. We participate in the yellow ribbon program. Currently, that amount is up to $2,000. Yellow ribbon is a first come, first served basis. We award 5 of those per year. And so to possibly enter to receive yellow ribbon, you would need to send our registrar, Ms. Tracy Jackson, your VA eligibility letter. You can email that to her at Jackson, Jackson _T for Tracy, at law.mercer.edu, or you can fax her at 478-301-5900. That is all that I have. Dean Carr, if you'd like to share any contact information for you before we end the webinar.
Sure, thank you, Lindsay. So you can email me directly at carr_e@law.mercer.edu. So that's just my last name _e for Elizabeth. And then you can also, our calls are being forwarded as well. So you can give me a call at 478-301-2630. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have and provide you with some additional resources if you would like. We really appreciate you being a part of this Admitted Students webinar, and we hope to see you in the fall.
Thank you all for participating. Have a great day.